almost 5:33, so I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Do you need, I guess we need to go through a roll call, right, Carolyn?
Yes.
You want to call the roll?
Carter.
Uh-oh. Mute.
Peterson.
Here.
Keller.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Lunds.
Here.
Bussey. Erickson.
Here.
We got
5.
The Lou Gehrig thing going on here.
Okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for September 8th, so I would entertain a motion for the approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Peterson moves. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Keller. Any additions or corrections?
Oh, actually, I wasn't there.
Okay, all right.
As good as they were, I can't prove them.
Somebody else? Commissioner Hunt's second set. Carolyn, do you want to call the roll?
Yep. Hunt.
Aye.
Mute me.
Oh, wait.
I'm trying not to.
Yes. Approved.
Keller.
I was recused. I wasn't at the
Okay.
last meeting.
Peterson.
Hi.
Lunds.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
4 with 1 abstaining.
Okay. The next item we have then is I see Jan is there. So are you going to do the presentation of our big general fund budget, which is the only one we have to approve, Jan, and then you're going to give us lots of other information?
Yeah, I will do that. I first of all want to give acknowledgement to Shane for, if you go on to, I think it's page 21 of this, it starts a narrative of these, of all the budgets and that we are presenting tonight and the projections. And they really are very good about being able to tell you in narrative form what these funds are for, et cetera. So I am want to do that first of all.
So Jan, are you saying that Shane helped you with that?
Shane does every year. He does an amazing job of giving us a real good narrative of what's happening about these. It doesn't really go into the numbers per se, but what's happening in each of these funds. So,
Well, that's very good.
No, I don't.
We know he's a multifaceted man, so that's
yeah. And so I am, yeah, it's been my privilege to be able to work with him.
okay.
So at any rate, we will go through, Carolyn, I don't believe I can share my screen. And if we can't, I can just kind of go through the pages, because I believe everyone has their computer. We could just get on with the first, the item is we're at, obviously, as we said, we're asking the Port Authority Board to approve the general fund
Jan,
budget.
you should be able to share up along the top if you do share.
It is not letting me.
You are a panelist. Okay, I'm going to try something different then.
I'm sorry.
Okay, try now.
Okay. Now why?
There you go.
There's
Yeah.
coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carolyn. So we're asking you to approve the general fund budget and just giving you for information the other budgets. So this is just kind of the chart of all the Port Authority funds. As you can see, it just keeps growing and growing, which must mean that we're doing a lot of good work here at the Port Authority. So the first thing that I would like to show you is this wonderful little, well, okay, maybe it's not very little, but the kind of schedules of what's going on with the port in more of a graphic manner, and tells about where the funds happen. I'm certain that all of you guys have seen this before, so I don't think there's anything here that is different from, last year when we brought this forward to you. Of course, the newer items are the Rosa and the American Square development. Otherwise, the Fenley came in a couple of years ago. So onward and upward to the next one would be the general fund budget. This year, for 2022, we are looking for salaries and benefits of $382,500. This is an increase, and this is because we are looking at having another additional FTE that is noted down below as well.
That is something that we're very happy to see in there. So that's good.
Yes. So, that the total wages, of course, are split between the general fund and the Tiff admin funds. So the Mall of America 1, 2, and Bloomington Central Station, as the person works on it. And I shouldn't say just the new FTE, I'm talking about all of us that work on this, our wages get split as we do the work for each of these areas. So material supplies and services are at 125,000. We're kind of keeping those where we are at. Again, that's where we were budgeted. It looks like this year we're probably not going to hit that full amount, but we may next year. Support services are basically your space and occupancy. We do have transfers anticipated to go out to the Rosa and American Square TIF admin funds. Those are because we really are looking at them not generating not generating any TIF at this point. And so we would probably need it. And then there will be a transfer in from the South Loop Development Fund. We are anticipating that the fund balance at the end of 2022 is $46,600 and change. Are there any questions in regards to this particular budget?
Board Authority questions? I think you can keep on moving, Jan.
I will. Then I'm going to kind of race through the rest of them because I know that you guys have a time frame on this as well. So this is our special projects. As you may recall, the special projects funds really was the destroyed value that we had in there. There was about $160,000 sitting in this fund. We are anticipating next year to be able to use it with the Met Center parking and Skyway development item. And so that fund will be gone away. The next one that we are just asking you is the Mall of America admin funds for the 2 TIF districts there. These are put together, of course, as we've been presenting them for quite some time now. And the interest earning, of course, is going down, but got to tell you, when we look at investments, it's not really doing a whole lot. So professional services is $151,250, and wages and salary is just shy of $400,000 that we're anticipating for the new projects that we'll be doing there, because that's where all this stuff goes. Ending fund balance is at $14,189,491 is what our projections are. That's for, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was in 2023. I passed over 2022. Interest earnings there is $66,127. Professional services and wages and salaries total $527,500. Transfers in from each of the 2 fund TIF districts for the 10% admin, it comes out to $920,000. So in 2022, we're anticipating an ending fund balance of $13,684,071.
And Jan, I think from my recollection, this is the fund that we have the most discretion with. This is from the 10% that we get from the TIF for administrative purposes.
That is correct. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shane, but this can be used in the South Loop development area. It is not just to be used and right in this area. I think that, am I correct with saying that, Shane?
Thank you, Mr. President and Commissioners. Yes, the ARF, the Administration and Reserve Fund, can be used outside of the 2016 Mall of America contract, but only within the Industrial Development District, which is ostensibly South Loop. And so roughly 3 to 4% of it, as you can see, is used for staff and other costs. And we have 6 to 7% that's available for larger use, but only within the Industrial Development District.
Thank you very much, Shane, for making sure, clarifying that. Okay, moving onward, we're going to be looking at the Mall of America TIF districts, the capital projects funds. This is the TIF that has been received. The fund balance includes the TIF that was received prior, and also now the new legislation TIF, the tax increment from 2013 legislation that's in there. So in 2022, interest earnings, again, going to be going down a bit, but our tax increment is also, unfortunately, taking the hit from obviously what we know of property values going down. So in total, what we're saying is we're anticipating revenues in 2022 of $9,675,000, and in 23 that starts coming back up again up to a $10,216,000. But what you'll notice mostly is, of course, what we're anticipating for uses. We're looking at 36,500 being used for the parking in the Skyway in both 2022 and 2023. And then, of course, the next thing is your transfers out, which is your 10% of the TIF that comes back in to go into the administrative and reserve funds. In end of 2022, our anticipation is that we would have approximate fund balance of $67,371,000, and in 2023, $40,060,000 and change as well. Going further, we have Rosa Admin Fund. This is the new one that we just set up for the new TIF district that we are going to be doing, which this is a housing district. We're looking at, as I had mentioned at the earlier part when we were talking about the general fund, it looks like in 2022 and in 2023, we will be bringing in some money from that. And then, about the same amount of money that we're anticipating for professional services and expenditures. We're looking at this fund in particular. If you read the narrative, we'll actually start getting TIF in it, I believe, in 2024. And then we'll start being able to pay back the general fund for these $5,000 loans that we're giving them. And you can kind of see that there is no activity in the capital projects fund for Rosa because we will not be receiving any TIF. We are looking at, once that happens, it'll look contrary to the other districts where we're taking 10% of the TIF. We'll only be taking 5% of the TIF collected because there's not as much of an administrative in these funds. So that's why we're doing it. Next, I'd like you to present the American Square Administrative and Reserve Fund. This, again, we are looking at in 2022 and 2023, approximately $5,000 of professional services and wages and salaries for both of those. Now, here we are looking that we might be getting money there will be a transfer in from the general fund of about $5,000 in 2022. But back in 2023, if you'll notice, it looks like we're going to be able to pay back the general fund some of that money that we've given them. Then we will be taking in money in from the admin and also pooling in it. And I think Shane does an exceptional job of telling us what that pooling is this is going to be money that we're setting aside for the next phase of the American Square Capital project. So there's going to be money in there. So we'll be taking the 10% for the admin, and then we're also going to be holding an additional 10% of TIF for pooling for use for the next. So in 2022, we're really very little fund balance, $232. But in 2023, once we start getting, or what anticipated getting money in from TIF, you're almost at 24,800 for a fund balance. So as we go on to the next, then the American Square Capital Projects Fund, it looks like there's where we're showing that we're going to be receiving $173,248 in property tax increment, which will be kind of nice. And then we're going to, in 2023, nothing will be coming in 2022, so that's still blank again. Approximately 70,000, 69,299 is what we have for their counted value earned. And then you'll notice those two transfers out that will be going back over to the admin and reserve fund for the admin portion and for the pooling of 17,325 each. So that fund at the end of 2023 will be approximately $69,299 left in there. That's what we're anticipating for the projected fund balance. Then we come to my favorite personally is the Bloomington Central Station because, and I say that because Bloomington Central Station keeps me on my toes. So in 2022, we will be looking for some interest earnings of about $2,200. And then we have some wages and professional services, the total about $112,500. Then we're getting in transfers from the Lennar Fund, from the Fenley Fund, and the BCS. We keep these all separate because of the way we are doing the accounting with them. To keep them all together would be difficult. Let's just say that. And because when we get the TIF money in, it's from, we separated, or thankfully Mark Reichel and Becky have this great working relationship to separate the money that we get from TIF as to how much of it is from Lennar, how much is it friendly, and what is from the BCS that we have been doing all over up to this point. So a total monies that we're anticipating in 2022 coming in as the 10% TIF transfer, admin transfer, excuse me, is $378,000 in 2022 and $418,000 in 2023. So we're going to end up with a fund balance of $710,147 at the end of 22, and at the end of 23, this will be $1,016,885,000. And again, I know that I have said this numerous times, but I want you to take a look at 2019.
I was just going to comment on that, Jan. We're always happy to see that go from a negative to a positive.
Yeah, and such a fast positive. I think that means that this district is doing exactly what we wanted it to do.
We had quite a few years there that it was negative, so that's very good to see it positive.
Yeah, up to 2019, it's been negative. So then I'm going to next direct our attention to the BCS Capital Projects Fund for the stuff that we have been doing. This is the quote older stuff that we've been doing in there, and the money as you can see has been really growing forth. The amount of the TIF that's come in, of course it did, we are going to take a hit in 22 and it'll hopefully come back by 23, but this is again because of the values of commercial and industrial is probably going to be going down. That's the anticipation that with that. Counted value earned is from the projects that we have done already with them. And, we do have a counted value portion that we pay them back of what they've earned for the stuff that has come out there. And that is $636,934 in 22 and $613,884. As you can see, that kind of keeps going down just a little bit. So it's a good thing. Now the transfer out is again the 10% of the admin that comes in. So in the end of 2022, we're looking at a fund balance of $3,475,637 and projecting in 2023 to have that fund balance at $4,697,000 and change.
Jan, what we may want to do on the next slides, because we've only got about 6 or 7 minutes left, is to just kind of summarize them a little more quickly, and if there's something that you want to call to our attention on them. since this is.
Not a whole lot. Okay, then I will really rip through these last couple of slides that are out here. So the Lennar debt service, there's really nothing happening in this. This is just the fund that we're looking at. Debt service, you know, the portion of the property tax. We do keep a fund balance in here that will, you know, for the next year's debt service payment. The Lennar projects, again, this keeps, you know, working up very well. And, you know, again, the same thing with the tax increment being a little bit lower. The special assessments, and we do have that third split that we're paying out on that to pay some of that. So at the end of 2022 is 770,000 and change, and 23 is 1,234,000. And the Fenley is, you know, again, same thing, property, and, you know, the stuff that's coming in for your property tax increment is kind of ramping right up there as the projects are getting done. So we do have that pay-go note that's on there. On this particular fund, transfers out again for the admin. We keep the fund pretty much at the minimum amount that's in there. So the fund balance in 2022 is 8,550, and in 2023, 7,550. And that is the end of this. So this is what I was telling you, this overview of the Port Authority funds. I ask, you know, if when you have the time to read it, because I think it's a very interesting and it's a very comprehensive and, you know, information.
I went through and I would recommend, I mean, it was very informative, so that was good. Okay, so that completes your presentation, Jan?
Yes, it does. Thank you
Okay.
very much. I appreciate your time.
So, Port Authority questions, any questions for Jan? If not, we have a resolution in your package to approve the general fund budget. So I would entertain a motion for the approval of that.
So moved.
Commissioner Keller moves. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hunt. Any further discussions? Carolyn, you want to call the roll?
Peterson,
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Lunds,
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Thank you. 6-0.
The budget is approved. And I think, Shane, is there anything else that we need to cover in our meeting?
Thank you, Mr. President, Commissioners. That's it for the Port Authority meeting.
So do we adjourn our meeting, or do we just, and then re-adjourn, or open it again, or?
I think you could do it either way.
Almost a tuxedo in today's terms.
Perhaps just leave it open.
Okay,
We
we'll just do that.
can pause the meeting, and if maybe the control room can turn off